Hey folks, so in this video we're going to explore a little bit more about you fitting your bike better rather than getting a better bike fit. And what I mean by that is there's only so much we can do sometimes with a bike, because what ends up happening is we have this bike which is obviously perfectly symmetrical. Okay, everything is built to within very tight tolerances, and then we take a very asymmetrical person, and we all have significant, sometimes, asymmetries. Even when we have mild asymmetries, they're going to show up on the bike because it is so symmetrical. The bike isn't going to adapt. We're going to adapt to the bike to some extent, always. And one thing I'd like to, in this video, to at least start everybody thinking about a little bit is these asymmetries that we have, and maybe where they come from, and how do they start. And in a lot of cases, they come from just very tiny things, habits that we have that have been built up in small increments over time. Things like I'm doing right now, the way I'm sitting with one leg crouched underneath me. I'm very comfortable doing that on one side, but maybe not so much on the other. So let me show you some of the asymmetries that I have and where they come from. Take a look. So the first thing I do is really common. I do a lot of my work standing. I just find that I don't like to sit too much, so most of my workspaces have a standing option for working on the computer or whatever else I'm doing. And my biggest problem is something you'll see me do here in just a second. Right there. So what I did is I shifted all of my weight to my right leg. I always am standing with predominant amount of weight on my right side. And this does a number of things. One is it completely shuts off some of the muscles in the glutes, and especially just doesn't really keep things even through the right and left sides back there. But there's also some issues with stretching over the right side of the hip. But I'm going to shift the angle here so you can get a better idea of what this looks like as far as how it positions the body. So as you can see, what I do here is I'm shifting all my weight to the right side. My left foot goes out, and I kind of create more of an angle at my right hip. So I'm stretching some of the muscles, putting some of the muscles on the right side on a stretch. And I'm also just disengaging the left side. It tends to also have a compensatory curve through the spine. So a lot of things happen all at once. That just goes towards breeding the imbalances that we're talking about. So what should I be doing? Well, quite simply, I need a reminder more often. I need to either have a little timer set or a rubber band around my wrist or something that reminds me to, as I'm going to do here in a second, shift my weight back onto both feet. I tend to bend my knees just a little bit. That will get the quads and the hip extensors engaged a little bit more. And keep the knees bent slightly. Don't let them lock out. And I just need this reminder to cue that. That puts my low back in a much better position. It takes away some of the spinal, the lateral curve, and in general, I'm just more comfortable and less sore at the end of the day. So here's another thing I do very frequently. This one's probably even worse. I'll sit down, I immediately cross my legs just like that. Now, crossing your legs isn't the end of the world, of course, but it can have some implications for some people with back, or especially people with SI problems. It's just, I tend to default to this right leg over left all the time. And actually, when I do go to sit the opposite way, which you'll see me do in a minute here, it actually feels very awkward. And that's actually a cue to me, I know, that I need to do it more often just to kind of keep things evened out and to equalize things a bit. Instead of just sitting the same way every time I sit down, I really need to make a point of crossing the opposite leg, but also crossing in a different way, crossing the ankle over the knee instead of the knee over the knee like this. Something else I notice is when I sit on the floor, and if I'm sitting, cross-legged, putting my right leg under my left feels natural, and that's strange to me, but it actually makes sense because I'm still crossing that right over the left. It's just tucked underneath me. So when I sit that way, I actually try and make a point, again, of crossing my legs in the opposite manner. So this is by no means a comprehensive list. This is just a few of the things I do. But these little foibles, these little imbalances that we create, they are what make us fit our bikes worse. So I want you to think about some of the things that you do in your day. How do you sit? How do you stand? How do you move? What are some of the little idiosyncrasies and the little imbalances that you perpetuate in your day? And also, can you correct some of these things? Can you put yourself into a different position that actually feels a little bit odd, but you think might actually be more balanced? Because I think making yourself feel this odd sensation is what can make you a more balanced person and therefore a more balanced rider and help you fit your bike better. So let me know in the comments below, and if you have any questions you can put them down there too. I'll try and answer them when I can. And I think that's it for now. We'll see you next time. Thanks.